listening to the Fours Up Podcast with your host, Marsh.
What up, Canes fans? It is the Fours Up Podcast. We are back after a little hiatus, little off-season hiatus. It's Monday, March 8th. Jordan is back from Hawaii.
Yep.
Jordan, aloha.
Aloha.
Hawaii roller coaster ride.
It was, yeah, dude, I can't believe I had totally forgotten about that song until you just said it. Is that from Lilo and Stitch?
Yeah, man, I play it like twice a day probably. I love that song. I play it in the shower every day.
Yeah.
It makes me happy. It's a happy song.
Yeah. Dude, like people won't, people that aren't LDS and didn't go on Mormon missions won't really appreciate it. But like there is no love for Disney songs like when you deprive yourself of all other forms of music and entertainment.
That is so true.
Dude, I remember like driving around as a missionary listening to the Tarzan soundtrack by Phil Collins, and it went so hard.
That slaps.
It really did.
Dude, that goes crazy. Okay, but it was a good trip though, yeah?
Oh, it was incredible. It was incredible, man. Like the weather was beautiful. Living in Salt Lake, I love going on vacation to warm weather the last week of February because it feels like you leave winter and come back to spring. So, I mean, that kind of happened. It's 65 degrees today here in Salt Lake. So the weather in Hawaii was perfect. The food is delicious. I love Hawaiian food. And yeah, dude, it was cool just like hanging out with my wife, just me and her and the like independence, like it felt cool being able to treat me and her to like a somewhat luxurious vacation, like paying for it myself, it was pretty cool. Felt like a man.
That is awesome. Meanwhile, I'm here I'm eating Chipotle every day and just getting fatter by the second.
Dude, I probably gained 10 pounds on that trip, honestly. I ate so bad.
Bro, so we have family in from Utah, and this past weekend I probably gained 10 pounds, whether it be in pastries or beer. It was so bad. But yes, we are back, and it's not football season, but spring ball starts this Saturday, and so this week we're gonna preview the offense today. We're gonna come back later this week and talk about the defense. But yeah, man, we finally get some football again. It feels like it's been a year since the Oklahoma State game. It feels like it's been 5 years since the UNC game. Speaking of the UNC game, did you see Duck going at it with DJ Dallas today?
Yes, I did. And dude, Duck's wild. To be fair to him though, DJ jumped in his mentions first.
Yeah, that was surprising.
Yeah, but I don't know. I love both. So
yeah, I love them both. But yeah, just some news before we jump into everything. Looks like Cody Brown is going to. I mean, he got the crystal ball to Miami. I think it was 2 nights ago or last night. For those of you guys don't know, I think he's from Georgia. Yeah, he's from Georgia, and he was committed to Tennessee, but then was released from his national letter of intent. I really like him. I talked to Cole Perry, Endo Gaines a lot, and he liked him better than he liked Thad Franklin. So
interesting.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's going to be perfect if we do get Cody because Robert Burns is gone, and so it's kind of and also that means kind of we don't really need to take a running back in this recruiting class.
Yep.
So it's kind of good.
Yeah, I did think that was pretty interesting. We're really loading up on backs right now, and I guess if Brown and or Franklin are coming in, like one of them can redshirt, that would be really great.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's what's going to happen because you got Cam Harris, and then you got Jalen Nye and Don Cheney who are going to be expected to take on a bigger role. Some other recruiting news. We've had a bunch of crystal balls to Miami lately. Ja'Cory Brown. Did you see that?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so he is a guy out of Valdosta who was going to be thought of as a Gators lock. But Brian Johnson has left to go to the Philadelphia Eagles, and that has kind of opened up the door for Miami to make a push. And he is announcing on March 26th. And so you guys know how much fun our shows are after someone commits.
I know, right? Isn't he visiting the Canes like that weekend as well? Like the weekend right before?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's either visiting this weekend or next weekend.
Okay.
So yeah, he is the number 5 dual quarterback in the country. I've done articles on him. He is a baller. I think he's a really, really good football player. He's going to be a project, though. He's got to work on the arm a little bit. But,
is there any comps that you have for him? Because I haven't watched him much. I mean, I've watched, like, very basic stuff, but you probably know him better than I do.
That's a good question. I mean, he's a big guy. He's 6'4", 205. And, I mean, I think Andrew Ivins said, like, Cam Newton.
Interesting. Well,
which is,
I'll take it.
Yeah, sure. He'll probably have to gain some weight to be on Cam's level, and that's a very far, comparison. Yeah. That's just off the top of my head from listening to him. But yeah, that's a good thing. We have a few other guys who got the crystal ball. Go ahead.
You have to think at the very least, coming into our strength and conditioning program, you have to think that he can get up to 230 at least. And a 6'4", 230-pound quarterback that's mobile, that's pretty crazy, man. Like that is getting into that Cam Newton territory.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And then I guess the last piece of news before we get into this offense is Avonte Williams, man.
That's huge. That's really huge.
You and I were both. I mean, everyone is really big on him. And we thought that last year he was going to contribute heavily as a true freshman. But, obviously the injury, he was out for his freshman season. And, a lot of people were saying that he wasn't, that his football career might be over. I mean, there was a possibility of that. And so that was kind of scary, obviously.
That was kind of the consensus, man. I mean, it was like, it's one of those rumors, it's not something that I would like say without knowing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I have not talked to a single person since Avonte Williams' injury that thought that he would play football ever again. So I was very shocked, and I'm pumped for him, and I'm also pumped for our football team.
Absolutely. And I don't know, have you heard if he's going to stick at safety? Because I heard he may play some cornerback.
We could sure use him at corner, but I haven't heard anything in that regard. But, I mean, he's the type of talent where you could put him anywhere, and then we should get to position changes. They've all been on defense, but do you remember what they were? I know Jalen Harrell went to corner.
Striker. And so at least I think it's striker. I'll be honest, I haven't been as up there keeping up. I know Avery Huff is moving to striker.
So I'm pretty sure that Harrell was going to corner because people were surprised because they thought he was going to striker. But then they moved Huff to striker and Harrell to corner. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
So,
that honestly surprises me that Huff is moving to striker, but because I think that Huff is the kind of build that you want to have at linebacker moving forward. Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see if he can beat out Keontra.
I mean, here's my concern is like why we have so much talent at striker right now with Avery Huff, Keontra Smith, Gilbert Frierson, but not a lot of talent at linebacker. So like that's surprising to me.
Exactly. Not a lot of talent at linebacker. Linebacker is very scary.
Yeah, it's like our 3 deep at striker. All those dudes are better than probably any linebacker we have on the roster right now.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so other than that, what do you say we go down this offensive depth chart? Before we get into that, has our guest said anything?
By chance? Not quite yet. I mean, he said 8 minutes ago that he needed 10 minutes. So, let's. I don't know. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's kind of a crazy time right now in life, and just I'm still getting used to Florida, man. I'll be completely honest. But it's been good. We have my dad's brothers coming into town this next weekend, and then my brother, who lives in Mississippi, is coming into town this weekend. So I'm sure that'll be a fun, rowdy time.
Nice,
but yeah, it's good. I really miss football. I'm excited for baseball season. I'm gaining. I just feel like I'm getting fat and just getting significantly like less attractive. And I wasn't, and I was like a 2 to begin. So I don't do like it. You need to come down here, bro, because the food here is so good.
Really?
It's so good.
Dang it. I want to now.
But I'll be honest, I really, really miss Utah. I miss my friends. I'll be down there in June, so that'll be fun.
Yeah. It's weird, man. Like I think for some reason, like there's something so comfortable about like air quotes home. You know what I mean? Like I spent 10 days in Hawaii, which Hawaii is an incredible place, right? There's a reason why like their economy is based on tourism, right? It's because it's beautiful there. But then I come back to Utah and it's like, it just feels right. You know, I was so excited to be back, even though I was in paradise.
No, I get that, man. Like, I like being comfortable. I like knowing where things are. I like just having my friends around, and I have friends here, but it's I don't know. It's just different, you know.
Yeah.
I'd lived in Utah for a long time, and so.
Yep.
I don't know. I just gotta. Hopefully, I get to stay here for a little bit and keep building. But we'll see what the future holds, man. I'm excited about the next few months, and my younger brother, my mom's going back to Utah at the end of this month. So, lonely Marsh, man, lonely Marsh.
They moving back here, or just hanging out for a while?
So my mom is going to go back there for a few months, then come back here in the fall. So. It's not a bad life.
She's gonna start the snowbird life then.
Yeah, starting it a few years early.
Hey, good for her, man. You know, like that's lifestyle goals right there. So I'm happy for your mom that she gets to do that.
It really is. And then the Heat are playing a lot better in basketball.
They are.
I don't know how we beat you guys. I don't know how.
Yeah, well, the Jazz have looked gassed for probably the last 2 weeks. And I'm not trying to take away from the Heat, right?
Because no, you're good.
The Heat are one of the rosters, like the Heat have the type of rotation that makes things difficult for the Jazz, and that they have a lot of lengthy wing defenders. And then, watching the game, obviously, we had no answer for Jimmy Butler on defense. So like the Heat are a tough matchup for us anyways. But we really had a rough, like, last 2 weeks heading into the All-Star break. Everybody looked gassed. I mean, Rudy Gobert didn't even look like he was jumping for rebounds for the last 3 games. It was like, and he was still getting like 10 a game because he's a giant. But
bro, those refs screwed you guys against the Sixers. I will say
that made me so mad. Holy
cow. Dude, and honestly, like, and I hated that Donnie and Rudy, like, were the last 2 picks. I hated that.
Dude, I just hope that the Jazz go, like, full heel at this point. Like, they just decide to be the villains and be the bad guys this year in the NBA.
Bro, nothing would bring me more joy for, like, the Jazz and the Lakers to meet in the Western Conference Finals, and the Jazz just wiped the floor with them.
Dude, I will tell you what. I know that this is unlikely because, I might be one of the bigger Jazz fans on the planet, but I'm also a very realistic NBA fan, right? In that I know it's unlikely for us to get to the finals, to get past the Lakers, or even win the championship. But if Rudy Gobert wins the finals as the best player on a championship team, like, it will be a year-long party that I will not remember for me. The smack talk. Could you imagine the smack talk that'll be coming from my Twitter feed?
Bro, I would be so happy for you and all my friends who are Jazz fans. And like, if the Heat don't win, I would love for the Jazz to win. That would make me so happy.
Yeah, I think the Heat are